My career as a classical harp player has taken me all over the world and opened my eyes and ears to the incredible potential of this instrument. Despite that, I actually know very little about its construction or its history. I'm on my way to the Salvi factory in the village of Piasco near Turin in Italy. It's the largest harp factory in the world and the first stop on my journey of discovery.
Well, Massimo, here we are in the harp factory. There's a lot of wood. Can you tell me what they are? What is this wood?
This is maple.
Okay.
Maple from Canada, actually.
Right. And here on the right?
Here you see beech wood. Beech wood, not in single, not massive wood, but laminated.
Yeah.
And this makes it more elastic.
Right, okay. And then finally, is this the same maple here?
That's exactly the same maple.
The harp seems to be common to practically every culture. In its simplest form, it probably developed from the huntsman's bow. Many pictures, carvings and statues of early harps have survived from ancient Egypt, Assyria and Mesopotamia. But nearly 80 years ago, there was a fascinating discovery.
In 1929, archaeologists from Pennsylvania, the British and Baghdad Museum made a most remarkable find. 80 feet down, in a grave, what seemed to be a royal grave, in Ur, in present-day Iraq, they discovered a grave with 46 courtiers who had gone to their death, apparently committing suicide with their queen. Amongst the graves, there were 3 or 4 harps, lyres.
These harps were approximately 5,000 years old, older even than the pyramids and Stonehenge. Technically speaking, they were lyres, but harps and lyres belong to the same family of instruments, sharing a similar sound and playing technique. Andy Lowings has spent years recreating one of these beautiful instruments, sourcing the exact same raw materials and making it possible for us to hear the sound of the original harp. Here in Ethiopia, they still play an instrument which is very similar to the one discovered in Iraq. Ethiopians believe that this was the instrument King David played to Saul in the Old Testament. I've come here to Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia, to meet the master of this ancient instrument, Alamu Aga.
በሰማዮች ላይ ያለህ ተለይቶ ይመስገን ክቡር ስምህ መንግሥትህን የምንፈልጋት ከጥንቱ በልጅነት ትምጣት ሰጠና ቤቱ ፈቃድህን እንዲደረግ ይሁን በሰማይ ሙተን ተነስተን ከዳይን
This instrument is used exclusively for religious purposes, specifically in the services of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. It's never played for fun or for parties.
Well, this is a traditional musical instrument of Ethiopia called bagana. It is an Ethiopian harp.
Yeah. And when you play it, it has a sort of a buzzing on
Yes.
each string. What causes that?
It is caused by these laser pieces,
Yeah.
which are called buzzers.
Right.
And so when you move them up and down,
Yes.
for example, maybe you can see when the string comes in touch with the bridge, it creates the buzzing sound. For example, now it is not buzzing.
Right.
When I move it down and it rests on the...
Oh, now it buzzes. Yeah, I see. Okay, so you can control the buzzing then?
Yes.
That's something you control. Can you show me how to play?
Okay, you will use it with your left hand.
It has to come on this shoulder?
Yes, so it has to be like this.
Right.
so I have to touch your hand.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I'll make you show you the position of the fingers. This one rests here like this, and this one here maybe down like that.
Yeah.
So this finger plucks this one and rests on this one. So you
I
pluck,
see.
yes, like that. All these 4 fingers,
Yeah.
they pluck towards you, except the thumb
Yeah.
against. Yes, like that. So you start from the lowest tone to the highest.
This
I'll
one?
show you. No, with this one.
Okay.
This.
All right.
Then with this one, the middle finger. Then the thumb. Then. No.
The lyre was prevalent throughout Europe in the early centuries of the first millennium, and was often used for the accompaniment of court poetry, such as the Gododdin, an early epic Welsh poem dating from the 6th century. The triangular harp, that is a harp with a front pillar as we would recognise it today, first appears in Europe in the 8th or 9th century, in the far north of Britain.
Now, the Picts were a tribe of people in the Highlands of Scotland and in the Lowlands, but they didn't leave any written language. Instead, they left some beautiful carved stones, which present images of objects they knew: animals, birds, humans, and indeed harps appear there. The harps that they show are very simple ones. They tend to be triangular, having straight arms and straight pillars. And they're sometimes being shown played by people sitting in chairs or just freely floating in the scenery. It's interesting that there's about a dozen representations of harps on these stones, and they all are found on Christian stones.
No one knows what these early Pictish harps would have sounded like. None survived, and the carvings are not detailed enough to allow us to recreate them. However, this is the sound of the Bray harp, the harp that would have been common across Europe from the 12th to the 16th century.